my name is Ronnie. At 16 years old, I weighed just under 300 pounds. Within 8 months, I dropped to 135 pounds, 60 kilos, and over the last 4 years, I built myself back up to 100 kilos. But this isn't a transformation flex video, it's not a look what I did video. It's about why I did what I did and what it cost me in hopes that I can help somebody else. I didn't wake up one day inspired. I wasn't motivated in the sense you would imagine. I wasn't disciplined because discipline sounded cool. I was disciplined because it's going to sound harsh, but I hated myself. I never really fit in. I was the big kid in school. I was a slow kid, the one who was easy to joke about, right? And kids are ruthless. But I think the worst part wasn't them, it was me. I figured out pretty early that if I made the joke first, people would laugh with me instead of at me. So that's what I did. I joined in with them. I made fun of myself. It worked socially, but every time you say something about yourself enough, you start to believe it. And I didn't hate the people around me. I didn't hate the people who made fun of me. I hated the way that I felt in my own skin. Walking into a room and being hyper aware of your body, sweating more than the other kids, avoiding mirrors, avoiding photos, avoiding attention. That does something to a 15-year-old kid. There wasn't some sort of dramatic turning point where I flipped a switch. There was no Rocky montage. I just got tired. I was tired of being uncomfortable. I was tired of being embarrassed all the time. I was tired of feeling weak. The summer after high school ended, something switched. I I started waking up at 5 a.m. I would go to the basketball court down my road. Then I'd go to the gym at 8 a.m. And then I'd go on a run. And then at night, I would go to basketball practice. And the crazy part is I didn't complain about any of it. I loved it. I loved the suffering. I craved it. For the first time in my life, I felt pain to be productive. It felt like I was doing something about it and taking charge of my own life. Took it further than most people would, and more than most people should. An hour and a half of fasted cardio doing basketball, then the gym, then an hour and a half of cardio at the gym, and then I would do an hour and a half of weights in the gym. I educated myself obsessively. Calories, macros, programming, recovery. I wasn't casual about it. I was extreme. I was never casual. And the weight started falling rapidly. 300 pounds turned into 250, then 220, then 180, then 150. And then 8 months later, I was 135 pounds at 6'2". And people praised me. They said it was impressive. They said I was disciplined. But I always got uncomfortable when they said that because they didn't see what I saw underneath. I felt like a fraud when they said I was disciplined. And I didn't lose weight because I loved myself. I lost it because I couldn't stand myself. I couldn't stand who I was up to that point. It's the kind of discipline that it's not the kind of discipline that comes from balance. It came from desperation. I stopped going out. I stopped seeing people. I stopped eating normally. I didn't really eat much at all, to be honest. I stopped relaxing. I didn't know how to relax. I didn't know how to rest. If I wasn't training, I felt guilty. You build discipline on self-hate. It works, but it's not stable. I went from one extreme to another extreme. Eventually, being 135 pounds at 6'2" didn't feel right either. I looked smaller than I felt, so I rebuilt. But This time, I didn't. I did it much different. I studied training properly. I became a qualified PT, believe it or not. I learned how to structure progress instead of punishing myself into it. I stopped chasing exhaustion and started chasing performance. I stopped asking how much can I suffer, and I started asking myself how can I improve. And that's where training changed for me. Now I sit around 100 kilos. I'm strong, I'm structured, I'm still disciplined, but it's a different type of discipline. I'm not driven by self-hate. At first, discipline saved me. Now it just sustains me. There's a difference in that, and it feels great, but I don't regret what I did. It built me, it built who I am right now. I understand it now. But I'm not here to sell you any motivation. I'm not here to pretend that it's easy. It's really not easy. I'm definitely not here to tell you to destroy yourself to change like I did, but I know what obsession feels like. Trust me, I really know what obsession feels like. I know what rebuilding feels like. And I'm going to be here to document real training, real process, and real thought. And if you're into that, stick around.
I almost always start with pressing movements. The reason why is because I used to always start with flies because flies are my favorite movement. I thought I could add more power if it's the first sets, right? But stretching in general, I'm not even just talking about stretching under tension. Well, you're always stretching under some tension. But stretching in general leaves you weak, even if you're just doing some pre-exercise stretching. It will leave you weaker. And studies show this. I can put a few studies up. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But it's true. And that applies to everything. And you want to put effort, as much effort as you can into literally everything. You start with presses, you can still go into flies once you've recovered. You can still go into flies pretty hard. You can still train pretty hard. Anyway, got 2.5 plates each side right now. We'll go up to 3 plates. And yeah. Yeah. Maybe we won't be going to 3 plates. Maybe. Maybe we'll train some quads. Yeah. Because if we're not, then it's a whole leg day tomorrow. I'm not feeling that. Feeling quads today, and then hamstrings and glutes tomorrow, along with my other lifts. I've got a little spice to it. There's 55 kilos each one. I feel like I should be going heavier, but I'm pretty not deep into a cut. Definitely not deep. But I'm down from 118 kilos to 100 right now. Bulked for so long. I mean, since I was 55, in what I just showed you, I bulked all the way up to 118 and then cut down from 118. We've still got a bit to go. I'm going down to 90, 10 kilos more, but I've lost strength that I wish I didn't lose. Definitely not 18 kilos of strength. It's a positive. Nice. We got ourselves a Smith machine. Well, I think you need it a bit up here and here. That's it. Cool. Just took a guy's number over there because he does boxing. They invited me to a boxing him. So maybe you know what? Maybe we'll do some boxing. That that could be a cool video. Getting beat up in 4K. Is this as far as this one goes? Back. What was it? Can I pull it all the way in here? Oh wait. Not really. Fine, I guess. Not the best big fly, but we'll make it work for today, right? Also, something I don't understand. A kilo is a kilo, right? Weight is weight, so a kilo, 1,000 grams is always 1,000 grams, wherever you are. But if I'm on the cable pec fly, the most I'm really going up to is 25, maybe 27 a hand. Yeah, nearly 100 kilos here. And it's easier than the 27. So if weight is weight, what is going on here, right? Because I'm not flying 50 kilos in each hand. That's not happening. Somebody please explain if you know. Unless the machines are just lying to us. And this would be the one lying, because I am not flying 50 kilos. This machine's lying to me. People think that change comes from some big moment, some speech, some like surge of motivation. It doesn't. It comes from a decision, usually a quiet decision, the kind where you stop negotiating with yourself. When I was 16, I didn't feel confident, I didn't feel powerful. I just felt tired of who I was and where I was. Instead of waiting to feel ready, I just started moving because I wasn't ready, and it wasn't glamorous, it wasn't balanced, it was so far from perfect, but it was consistent, and consistency soon compounds. And you don't need to hate yourself to change. It's not the point of this video, but you do need to be honest with yourself about where you are, about whether you're willing to do something about it. You're capable of more than you think, not because you're special, you're not, but because most people quit before they find out. Anyway, I'm going to finish my cardio, and I hope to see you next time.